The so-called Tlatelolco Massacre at the hands of the army put an end to the student movement of 1978. It was a violation of human rights and a state crime. It was a brutal combination of crimes that could be considered against humanity, perpetrated by the government of Mexico against students throughout that year, characterized by the massive, arbitrary, and illegal detentions that took place during this period. Now, when we talk about the relationship that this has with the SDGs, we can say that this is a seek to prevent situations like this from happening, and above all, that the human rights are well respected. We can find this in the SDG number 16, which promotes the Pacific society. I believe it is important to promote human rights in order to avoid any kind of conflict and to maintain a healthy environment.
Tlatelolco 68 movement was an armed conflict between the police forces and the students who were protesting for justice, and many lives were taken away because this armed conflict. In the other way, nowadays the United Nations has created the SDGs that are Sustainable Development Goals that are supposed to help the society to avoid the 17 main problematics in the global population. And in the case of the Tlatelolco movement, the arms and the violence was the main factor. So the number 16, the goal number 16 is going to avoid this violence, promoting peace with all nations and among all the populations to have a better future and don't commit the mistakes we made in the past.
The Tlatelolco's massacre had a very big impact on Mexican history, as well as the trust to the government, because due to this, the corruption was more drastic and awful. Nowadays, thanks to the SDGs, especially the 16th one, the countries are fighting for the prevention of another event as the Tlatelolco's one, looking forward to the peace, justice, and strong institutions that assure a better quality of life and a better world for us to live in.
Tlatelolco massacre shows me and all my teammates how does the world has changed since that event. How does the world had a perspective of Mexico, and with all these details that year by year are revealed to the people, we can see that Mexico is a place where the government pay attention more to the money that they lose than their people that need something. With this case, we can see that Mexico is a country that doesn't care about his people, and also what it shows us is that every person has a right to express, a right to be free of telling what they need. No one can take us our rights. No one can take us from a conversation, and most important, no one can take off our SDGs or our rights.